Good day all. Ira Epstein of Linn Associates with your financial market wrap-up for this Wednesday, the 18th of August, 2021 at 5:15 p.m. Central Time. Washout day. Pain for those long in the stock indices. Dollar held on to most of the gains during the day. But if you're taking a look at what's going on in other currencies, you keep knocking on the door trying to go 117 and under in the euro. Energy's down. It's a combination of what's going on with COVID around the world, China's slowdown, other countries shutting in like New Zealand, Australia. You're just seeing it everywhere. Mask mandates coming up. President Biden throwing out an ultimatum, as I saw it today on TV, to the healthcare units that take care of senior citizens. Get your staff vaccinated or you might lose federal funding. Pretty strong statement. It's the beginning. Where do you see how the Fed dives in on the state school system for the kids? Masks are going to come. While you get certain states that fight it, take a look in Texas, take a look in Florida, look at their track record as to right now what is going on with the COVID cases. Those southern states, Texas, they're setting the records. They are just up and beating their own records, and they do not have a mask policy. Chicago, starting Friday, you can't go anywhere in the city to a public place without wearing a mask again. We're not closing the city down like we did a year ago. It is just the masks, and we're used to it, so you can deal with all this. But when you take a look, you're down 1.5%. When's the last time we saw a 1.5% drop in a week? I'm walking you through this. Now, I'm not saying the week will end like this, but I just am showing you. The last time you were anything near it was June 18th, and we know the market rebounded. I don't think this market won't rebound in time. I just don't think it's this moment. We'll see if it did anything like June. As you take a look at the break today, stout. That's the best word you can say about it. The market fought all day long to try to be better, not higher, better, and hold on. But after the notes came out, traders had to either look at them as being glass half full or half empty, and they chose to say, okay, the Fed's going to taper, and that means interest rates down the road coming, blah, 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 and away you went in the S&P to the downside. So now you're 2 days, well, actually your first day under the 18-day average on a close. I have to go back to, the end of July, beginning of August to find a time frame like that. Each time, as I've told you before, it has a habit of just bouncing right back. Until that pattern changes, it ain't changed. Got it? I know the grammar's not good, but that's fact. Where do I think the market will bottom out? And I do think that. I think it's going to fight to bottom in the 43.65 area. Momentum is still down. Therefore, unless there's a report that comes out of some type to make the market go up, I think the forces are such where those caught long, and there's a number of people in here, might want to take money off the table. I am not saying they should. I said they might. I'm going to repeat. I do expect the market to rebound and go back up. The question is when. In the NASDAQ, lower highs, lower lows. This market broke down, has not looked back since then, and still breaking down, but finally getting into oversold territory. In the Dow today, it fought valiantly, but couldn't do it. This was the close today. Game over. You had not lost the embedded reading yesterday. You lost it today, and after the notes came out, the market just said, enough, and away it went. Where could it go? It could drop down to the lower Bollinger Band, maybe even the 100-day average. But it too doesn't have a history of staying under that the 18-week average very long. Do you disagree? Looking back, the market made a top against the upper Bollinger Band, kept its embedded reading, looked good on purchases into that area, and as it turns out, those purchases weren't good. You don't know it until after the fact. I wish I had a crystal ball ahead of the fact. In the Russell, I've been looking for a break that might keep going to the 100-day average. I've mentioned this to you a couple of days here. You got down. I said if it's going to reach, it's the 200-day average that the market might reach for. That's exactly where you're at right now. Don't be a bottom picker. That is not what I'm saying. But I am saying the game changed, and it could be for the month of August. Now, we're going to just be doing one of those things. It's very difficult to tell. In the bonds, with today's action, you confirmed lower highs, lower lows. However, you're over the 18-day average of closes, so you don't have much of anything. In the VIX cash, you've got a lower low, higher high. I do think on today's rally that the quote-unquote smart big money is doing what they do every time you get one of these where you hit the upper Bollinger Band and key averages. I think they write calls looking to get back down to the closest moving average. They often take some heat, so we'll see if that's the case. But remember, I said what I think they're doing. 10-year note in a downtrend, lower highs, lower lows. I think the trade's going to look at this market and sell it at 134.07, and they won't want to see the 134.20 area. If they get over that, then they're back into an uptrend because you'd have higher lows, higher highs, and 135 would be your number. That would mean that the market's also looking at something else. It's got to be the COVID situation. As bad as Afghanistan is for the U.S., and it is terrible, that's not enough to make bonds go one way or the other. It's going to come from something else in the economy and or what's going on with COVID. In the dollar index, just running to the upside, will we get to the upper Bollinger Band while you're overbought? That is the target, doesn't mean it has to get there. Eurocurrency, downside targets, the lower Bollinger Band oversold. They're mirror images. And the reason they're that is the euro makes up about 40% of the weighting of the dollar index. British pound did hit the lower Bollinger Band 2 days ago. It bounced away, hasn't gotten under it, still very much in a downtrend but oversold. Bitcoin, you've lost your embedded reading. When you lose the embedded reading, you often make a run to the 18-day average of closes or the closest moving average. I could argue you've already hit one of the targets, the 100-day. The 18 would be the gravy, but it's already hit one. Now, when did it lose the embedded reading? On the close today, and it didn't get it back right away. So that's how I'd view it. Brent versus WTI crude, the difference just keeps spreading out, but all of the energies, all of them, are in downtrends as you're looking at them, but they've hit their targets of the lower Bollinger Band. Doesn't mean they can't get lower, but as a group, they're all oversold, looking for problems. Remember, we write about all this. You know that you can click up here to get to our webinar. You got to do that and register now because the seats do fill. And if you're interested in our newsletters, just go to our website under free offerings. Give this a try. I'm Ira Epstein. Have a good day.